meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the work session, June 16th, 2025, 10:30 a.m. I will ask Secretary Treasurer Warner to call the roll.
Scott Horowitz.
Here.
Ed Warner, present. Chip Marin.
Here.
George McLaughlin.
Here.
Matt Parsons.
Here.
Mr. President.
Thank you. Let's see. I see your name here for a discussion there. Trustee Marin, do you have something you want to discuss?
No, I think that was a typo.
Little typo? All right, well, I'll dispense with that. Let's get right into the general permit applications for determination. First one is First Coastal, which is in Pond, 15 Old Point Road. Negative? I see a head shake.
Not here yet. Maybe we should skip them for now.
46 Ramp Pasture Owners LLC, R&W Engineering.
Second call.
As we say in court, second call.
All right. Marcus Mordicini, 34 Shinnecock Road, East Quogue, C-Tech LLC.
Nope.
There's somebody else here, right?
Yeah, you want to wait to the end?
No, might as well do it now.
Okay.
You're up. I understand there was, come on up here. Sit down and sign in, state your name, and I understand you have a project that you,
Yes, my name is George Pianca, and I'm at 1 Marinia Place, Hampton Bays. And I submitted a general application to renew my permit to maintain my jetty. It's not a new project, it's just maintaining what I already have.
okay.
It's a permit. I don't know the exact year, but it was an older permit. You guys are aware that it's only 1 year
Yeah.
permit. He replaced it. You were given a violation, I believe, sir.
Yes, correct.
So now he's in to get an as-built permit for this application.
Is this a brush jetty or is this a standard jetty?
It's a rock jetty.
It's a rock jetty.
Yeah.
These pictures are dated when, James?
I'm not sure. There's no date on here. The pictures that you submitted with your application, when were they taken, sir?
This was a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago.
This isn't what you've done now.
No, because that's what I see. I want to maintain the jetty per the application. I don't
Yeah, but
wanna-
we need current information, not 2-year-old information.
Well, I have them on my phone.
But we need them in the file for the board to be able to review this stuff, so we're gonna need that.
Yes.
We're gonna need, if you're making an application to the board, we're gonna need all the current conditions, the current situation. You know what I mean? 2-year-old stuff.
And this is also gets applied to the Army Corps and DEC and all that?
I can't speak for them. I'm just concerned about our,
No, I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if it.
Do you have a DEC permit, an Army Corps permit for?
I don't believe it was necessary when I see, there was an old original permit that was lost, and fortunately, the town trustees people found it because it was filed under the first name of the original owner.
Property owner, you correct, yeah.
Yes. So then I submitted the application and it was approved just to maintain the jetty per the original permit. And that's all I wanted to.
but you went ahead and did that prior to, you've already done this, right?
Unfortunately, yes, that is absolutely my fault. I thought the permit was something that wasn't temporary or limited. I found this in my files, and unfortunately, it doesn't have an expiration date, and it's my fault that I wasn't aware of
Okay,
that.
so we're asking for an as-built.
Yes.
As-built. So what we're gonna need you to do, and I think my suggestion is you could contact our office, get a checklist of what we need for the current conditions of what's going on so that the board can take an action and make a decision. Because on old information, obviously, that's not gonna work. So that's what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah. what do you exactly want? Because
I did submit a new survey.
Well,
Yes.
the property owner to the west of you did complain, I did have a conversation with him, that your jetty is much larger and bigger than what was originally permitted, and it's causing erosion on his property.
I don't believe the jetty is larger and bigger. It is per the,
Well, what we would
Application.
need is to have a surveyor do basically put it on a survey, the height, width, and length of it, the original permit was allowed, and what it is there now, because it's much higher than it ever was down there. I was down there about 3-4 weeks ago, and that jetty is probably like 6 feet high. I don't remember it being that large.
Which is why I say we need to know the current conditions before we could even properly evaluate this.
well, again, I just want more information, so I'm not familiar with these things. So it says that the application, the permit was for it to be 8 to 9 feet wide, 1 to 3 foot field stone, and it gives the length and up.
Right, but we don't know what the current conditions are right now matching up to what that initial permit was. And until you can have a surveyor depict that on a survey and have actual checklist of, what's required for this, we don't have enough information to make a determination. So we could speak to James, and then, you could speak to James Duryea, our environmental analyst, and go down the checklist of what it is that we need. Yeah, that's James. But, after, obviously, this is an official public meeting, after the fact, because we're not going to be able to make a determination with old information, okay?
Okay.
So,
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Did you build the jetty originally, or
No,
you
no.
bought it with the jetty?
It was already there.
Then
with
you
an
definitely
original-
need to check and see that the prior owner didn't maybe add to something that you're not aware of.
Well, but we went
Sir,
through this
if you're in
process
court, I
2017.
would recommend that you just minimize what you're saying, but be very careful, because you may have bought it with a violation, that's all I'm saying.
right, so.
Talk to James.
Get us the actual information as it exists today so that we can make that determination by comparing it to what was originally permitted. And then this board can, deliberate on, what it is that we can do. Okay?
just to be clear, Scott, do you want the older project depicted on the survey? Because he has an updated survey from April 2025 here.
I want to see,
Shows what's there. It seems like you want
we want to
the
make sure.
old permit depicted on the survey to show that
We-
the differences between what is there now and what was.
We need to also, as per what, especially what Council Lombardo was saying, we need to make a determination if what is there or what was there actually matches up to what was originally permitted, right? So
That's
we,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
If your surveyor, I just want to make sure I'm telling him the right.
Yeah.
that's what we
information that
want.
you guys want. So
Yeah, we will have time after the meeting to have a conversation, because this is going to have to go on for another session.
Joe, shouldn't he foil for all the permits that were granted?
Yeah.
And give them to the surveyor so he can do a timeline of the projects?
That would be the best way to show.
and updated photos.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, not 2-year-old photos. We need updated stuff.
Okay, so I'll be in touch with
Yeah.
you, James.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
So did anybody, I don't see First Coastal here. R&W Engineering?
Yeah.
Oh, there's First Coastal. He walks in the door.
What do we got, something up here?
Yeah, I got Susan Pond.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Father's Day, everybody.
You, Bill.
We're efficient here, Bill. We get right on it.
Billy Mack, First Coastal.
You got 15 Old Point Road for starters.
So this is, with me for a second. This is bulkhead replacement, 190 feet.
I can't read that.
Um,
190 feet of existing bulkhead. You're doing some reclamation dredging
Exactly.
within 10 feet of the bulkhead to -3, approximately 100 cubic yards, and you're going to place it landward. Untreated wood only to be used, 10-foot wide buffer landward of the bulkhead, and you're going to do
Beach grass,
beach grass, 12 inches on center.
yes. I'd like to say it's pretty straightforward.
On the plans that you're gonna go up to 18 inches max.
We're asking for 12 on this and
But
18's max, but we're asking for 12 on the application.
you are?
I don't see that.
I don't see that.
It says it, I think, just on that cover sheet.
No?
I don't know.
Just
I don't see
inches
that.
on center.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So we're going to have to tweak
All right.
that.
You guys are fine with 12? We'll go with 12.
Because we have
Here's
a adjacent property.
Here's your grade.
12
Here's your
12
grade
inches is
information.
Pretty.
Yeah, there is a bulkhead that is to the south. That is at least 12 inches higher.
So you're talking 8 when leaving a 4-inch.
And with 4-inch, yeah.
Wait, so you're going seaward on this replacement
No, in place.
in place?
We're gonna
Because
rip
the-
that old one out.
Because it's just, well, according to the diagram, it's showing sheeting to be removed and replaced in place with new vinyl sheeting.
Right.
You're doing Navy style? So
Navy style.
You're putting
Piles
12
on the
inch
outside.
Okay.
piles on the outside, so.
Reclaim a little sand, and we will go with 12 inches is fine.
Do we have any pictures of this, James?
Here you go.
Looks like there was work done there already, or sand just put there.
Yeah, he had lawn that he pulled out.
Oh,
Been there for a long time. This is an old.
Took the creosote, take the creosote.
Obviously.
We don't want creosote.
Phillips's Creek, yeah.
And obviously you're gonna leave 6 inches below with the whaler
Yeah,
on the seaward side,
on the seaward side, the whaler's going to be on the but
Yeah.
at least 6 inches.
at least.
Yeah.
Because this seems like it's got a lot of grade going down into the creek.
It is. That's why we're recommending a navy.
Yeah. Just, we don't want all that new lawn planting runoff, preferably going directly into the creek.
Elevating it, they're
Right.
gonna-
Yeah, I think the
It is-
elevation is fine.
It's a slope,
Yeah, it's a slope.
so we
That
could.
gives you that much whaler, gives you the full width of the whaler, because it wasn't on the plans, but I'm not really concerned with it. But
On the back end.
yeah, on the backside, I just want to make sure there's whaler exposed so that we're
That's
catching the runoff. Yeah.
at least 4.
Okay. Yeah, at least 4.
And the beach grass will be very helpful.
So 12 inch, and we'll modify everything on that, based on that.
Plans
So-
and cover sheet.
Yes.
And we'll stamp that. Okay,
You have other things here.
I do.
Sorry, Charlotte?
That application was as built? No.
Oh, this is the one with the, but that was, did they just do self-help with plywood on the outside of this? So this is the one where they put the plywood on the outside, so that was just to kind of like
Temporary.
shore it up.
So
So it's not
the vinyl sheething wasn't put in yet.
correct, so you're just gonna put the vinyl sheathing in now.
Everything
So
comes out.
that was self-help, which triggered a notice of violation,
Okay.
right? Did you see the sheathing on the outside of this?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
So it was apparently in bad shape. Self-help was engaged. A notice went out.
Okay.
And now there's an application here to do it the right way.
Contacted us. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
We call this?
All right.
Right?
Yeah, so that would be a complete rebuild. Everything that's there comes out and we
Yep.
rebuild it in
You're
place.
taking, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Are we still good with that one? As long as.
Yeah, I
we
think
do the
spec
modifications?
design, the whole thing, yeah, clean up the plans, clean up your,
Plans and cover sheet, and we'll
Cover
put it on
sheet.
for next.
Okay.
You get it.
Good. All
Okay.
right, do you want to go some down the line or?
yeah, let's go down the line instead of this back and forth all day here. Let's get it done.
Sure.
You have Larry Tauber.
Yes, you guys reviewed this with Aaron last time.
Yeah.
We did do some changes to that. That one, we also went with, I believe it was 12 inches based on my conversation with Aaron.
Yeah, I
12
went-
Gilbert Road, Hampton Bays
I
for the
was down here a couple times looking at the bulkhead, the next door neighbor, and the bulkheads to the west of it are substantially higher on the, it used to be the Penny Point Motel or Arlington Shores or whatever it is. So, and then it's similar to Stabelic has bulkheads very close to that elevation. So I looked at it and I told Aaron, I think 12 inches would be a good fit in that area.
And that is,
12 inches, you said? Because you have 18 inches on this.
yeah, we do
cover
have
sheet.
18, so we're gonna bring that same to 12 inches. Update the plans and get them stamped for you, unless you have anything else.
Get rid
on
of the
this.
dredging on the bay side, right? And,
Yeah, we got rid of the,
Yep.
we took that out.
okay.
Yeah, so you'll need cover sheet, stamped plans, right?
Great. Okay, so we'll modify that with the cover sheet and plans based on 12 inches. Okay. And if you want to continue on,
We do. We want to go to
Chip.
Jody Della Femina,
okay, yeah, you guys have, I believe,
40 Noyak Harbor
So,
Road.
we just wanted to bump it out. So
Yeah.
The backside, and then we don't have to
Exactly.
do. So we're in good water.
right, and then we did that, I think we bumped it out like 3 or 5 feet or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. That was just the nuance.
So we're good with that?
Then 142.
42.
Hold on one second. You guys are going too
Going so
quick. Let me
fast.
just make sure that he has
Stamp
see if
plans
they're
on that.
stamped or not. No, they're not. So
Yeah, they're not
So advanced pending stamp plans.
stamp. Okay.
now we can go to the next one.
142 Town Point. This is back and forth on this one a little bit.
Yes.
Joe. This is a dock that centered on the property. It's 88-foot catwalk. It goes now out to the maximum length of 60 feet. So originally, we had this almost approved on the south side of the property. We shifted to the middle, and then we
Oh, we
there's
remember
a
the pier line.
pier line. So we're at 60 feet.
And there's no float because we don't
There's
have
no
the water.
There's a ladder.
We just need stamp plans for that. Huh?
Okay. Okey-doke. Anything else?
You're done, I think, with the general permit applications.
Thank you very much.
All right. Is anybody here from R and W Engineering?
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
How about C-Tech? You have Marcus Morticini, 34 Shinnecock Road.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, this is just a platform ramp and float. Tried to keep the size minimal.
That's good. 4x6 wood platform, 2.5 by 16 aluminum ramp, 5 by 20 wood floating dock, but not treated, of course,
Correct. Nothing treated up.
indicated on the application.
Could you just state your name?
I'm Ben Tazzuli with C-Tech.
There it is. Got the 10-foot. Meeting the blue book, James?
Here, so.
I'm good with it. You guys?
It's all good, yeah?
That's good.
Yeah.
It is stamped, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
All right,
That's all you have with us today?
that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so then we're gonna go to land use. Right, Christian Leno, 16 Lynn Avenue, Hampton Bays.
Actually, Court, not Avenue.
It's what avenue?
It's Court, not Avenue.
Yeah.
It's just a mistake.
Lynn
Oh, you
Court.
got a mistake here?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So, we were here once before, but it's a project that incorporates, one strand of bulkhead, but incorporates two properties. Part of the one to the south, which is Cary, so we, as requested and required, we
Separate
submitted a
permit,
separate.
applications. Yep, yeah, because they each own a piece of the property.
Correct. And the bulkhead's just gonna be in place. They're proposing a stairway, a platform, 4x4 platform, I believe, with a 3x12 stairs, open grate for beach access. And then on top of the bulkhead, it's gonna be beach grass, and then they have a 10x10 platform, because we got quite a stretch of stairs there to get down. It's a little area to rest and.
Yeah, there's a pretty steep bluff behind it,
Correct.
at the end of the road, yeah. I'm pretty familiar with it.
Both plans, James, could you just show this, the stair location?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it's on the plans, yes.
Page 1.
There's existing stairs that they're gonna reconstruct.
And the platform's existing, the 10-foot platform.
There's a platform at the bottom, but it's not 10x10. They're putting the platforms in there.
So the platform is non-existing at all on the prior project had no 10-foot platform.
Right.
This is the one they're gonna put, this is the proposed one, right, with the stairs being tucked in, basically parallel to the bulkhead. That's what's there now, and this is what's proposed.
Yes.
So it doesn't interfere with public passing in front of it. It's-
Correct.
Yeah, and it won't get washed away as easily with storms in that area.
Correct.
It's a pretty gnarly place.
Pretty similar to what's existing next door.
Yes.
Okay. And Ed, you're all right with like we always speak about the language of the anchoring of that 10-foot platform? Or is this high enough up?
It's high enough. It's got more.
So it's
It's
not
got.
gonna have any.
It's not going to get overwashed and float away.
lifted and
Yeah.
torqued and
Yeah, I mean,
and-
yeah.
Okay.
It's probably got like 8 feet or 9 feet of elevation from the high tide mark.
Correct. It's pretty high up.
Right. It's gonna be,
It's not going to float away.
there's gonna be worse carnage if that's,
Yeah.
That'd be the least of our problems, yeah.
Yeah. The project now. And we got both of the.
yeah, as long as it's not fine with the size of the platform, I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
All right.
That's good.
And the one next door also, I mean, it's the same project, but.
Yeah, it's the same project. Yeah.
I have a question about the one next door, the larger property. Are you doing the whole thing or just the one
No,
section?
just
right?
that one
Okay.
section that's shown on the plans.
I just didn't know if it was, because I saw that it was only like 20 linear feet of bulkhead. I didn't know if that was a mistake or not.
No, it's there's like I call it a right of way that goes there,
Okay.
and the bulkheads on both sides have been replaced.
Yeah.
This is hasn't been done.
Understood. I just wanted to
Yep.
make sure. Double
Clarification.
checking.
Yeah, if you didn't know where the property line was, you would think that that was their
It was
property as
all
well.
one anyway. Probably at one
Yeah.
time it was, and then it got subdivided. And
Yeah,
Correct.
So you good?
yep,
All right, so that can advance.
Yeah, and they have stand plans, so we're good.
okay.
That can advance.
Both of them then.
Okay, so moving right along. There's still nobody here from R&W Engineering, right? So I see Surfside Environmental. 658 Flying Point LLC. Hello, Daphne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, Daphne Vaughn, Surfside Environmental Planning. I've been here a couple times on this one. We had discussed potential issues with the soundings, that we believe that they were taken at a high bay. So what we did is we had Bob Fox adjust the soundings so that 0 starts at the same level as the orange trustee stripe on the bulkhead in Mecox around the corner from this. It's about 2,200 feet to the south. So we have that as 0 and adjusted the soundings accordingly to be below that level. And so what we did is we had it as a fixed L-shaped dock before. We took the advice of the board and shortened it, shortened the fixed part, and then did a ramp and a float, still in the same L-shaped configuration. It's a total of 40 feet seaward of mean high water, where I believe we were at 53 or something like that before. So the fixed portion is 26 feet, and 6 of that is actually landward of the high water mark. So it's 20 feet into the water with the 30 by 14 ramp, and then a 6 by 20 float that would be removed in the wintertime. But it's the same location, and again, just to remind the board that this location is because of the Town Conservation Board's approved access way through a non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer that's been covenanted as part of a larger redevelopment project for the property.
Daphne, I have a quick question. What is this line on the survey here? Or on the plans?
I think
It's
that's
not a
the
property
limit of
line.
the conservation easement.
Okay, so it's not a property line.
Yeah, this
just-
property's got
it's
a
the whole-
number.
Yeah, it's the whole.
Those
Yeah.
2 peninsulas are essentially conservation easements from the 90s that are now further covenanted as naturally vegetated, non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer.
It's an excellent question, though, because of obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was the property line because
Right, because that would be
cut across.
problematic.
No, it
You know,
wouldn't be
so the ramp and the float would be removed on a seasonal basis.
stored upland, not in the, not in the meadow.
Yeah.
That's what we had asked for, right, Chip?
Yeah,
I think you're good.
I think we're good.
Do you have that on the cover sheet by any chance or no?
Have what?
I'll just add it to the
Fixed dock is
seasonal
26 feet.
seasonal language.
Oh,
The ramp
I
and
can add it as
the
a
ramp
condition
and the
on the-
float are seasonal and they have to be
Permit,
stored
but I
upland.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, that can be.
You good with me just adding it to the conditions or
I'm good with that. You good with that,
you
too?
just want it on the cover sheet?
No, just add it to the conditions.
You go with the seasonality being one of the
The
conditions.
ramp, dock for seasonal purposes.
If it should be on the cover sheet, if it's not,
Want it on the cover sheet? I mean, you can put it on the cover sheet, it doesn't,
There's room.
you're doing it as a condition?
You got room.
yeah.
All right, if it's a condition, sorry, leave it.
I mean, you could add it to the cover sheet at no additional charge. If that helps you.
Okay, well, I have to get these plans stamped anyway. What I might do, since you were questioning that line, is have that labeled as the limit of the conservation easement.
I think that would be a good idea, because it
Just for
does, yeah,
clarification.
because it creates,
The illusion that it's on the
that it's a
extended
property
Yeah,
line
that-
and that.
that it was given to
you
the
know,
town or whatever else.
Yeah, I would clarify that too. I was thinking the same thing as James was asking it.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable.
Yep.
And, makes sense. Okay,
So new cover sheet, new stamp plans with that change, right?
got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
That's
right.
all you got for today, right?
Yep.
So now we have 20 JPD LLC, 20 Jewel Pond Drive, Watermill with InterScience. Always nice to see.
Hey, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Have Bailey Larkin here, Bennett and Reed.
Good
I
morning.
sent Charlotte a note that we had made some progress with the other regulatory agencies.
That's good.
I wanted to let you know that we've added a kayak rack. I do not know why it wasn't submitted initially, but we're replacing an old dock with a compliant dock. Lisa, do you want two of these?
Yes, please.
253 linear feet long.
Plus a pure stand of Phragmites. The existing dock is on grade. Trying to make sure I give you the right one.
This is replacing an existing one, correct, Jim?
Yep. I guess so. Stealing Bailey's plane. Back. Sorry.
Can you zoom out just a
Minimal
little bit?
rail.
So I know where I am.
I try to be prepared.
That's
all right.
Gotcha. All right.
So Bailey lost her plan set. What we're doing here is replacing an old dock. The old dock's at grade. It's got the Phragmites growing up through it. There's a bunch of other decent wetlands vegetation here. Not just Phragmites, there's a lot of Spartina. So we want to keep it alive. We want to get an Army Corps permit. We want to get a state permit. So we have to start the dock up at the wetlands line. The wetlands line is new, it's verified, it's usable. We have to provide a ramp up landward of that, and then be 4.5 feet up. We'll show
What's the height of the existing one?
about 0. It's on grade.
It's on grade.
There's water
Yeah, it's wet.
over it sometimes,
It's got wet feet.
depending on
Right. 4.5
So-
feet, huh?
We're giving you a plan that complies with the latest Army Corps and the DEC.
Consistency.
That's good to me.
United.
If you wanted to know, we're proposing a house, and Bailey has already been to Environment Division. We've negotiated a small building envelope for a small house on the upland portion. This is one of the vacant properties in Fordham.
What's the definition of small
Yeah, I
house?
was just gonna ask that.
3,000, okay.
40,000 square
That's
feet.
like, yeah, wow.
3,000.
That's the total house or just a footprint?
Total house, it's the minimum size that the Fording Association will allow.
That's the pool
Minimum
house.
size, okay, so that's a small house. Okay.
That's it. We're making progress with the other regulatory agencies. I presume we'll be back at some point with a cover sheet that says kayak rack.
Thanks, Jim.
Dare,
So I didn't know if you had that here today.
we're gonna submit it formally anyway.
Okay, so
Lisa,
cover sheet with kayak rack and stamp plans. I don't know if there's new plans or stamps. I don't have a copy.
we're gonna start Steve Lemansky as soon as I get an idea that the Army Corps and the DEC are.
So we can hold it for now until.
Right.
Yeah,
At the end, we're proposing a little 4x6 drop platform to allow kayaks to go in the water. Joe, I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but the existing dock kind of ends at the end of the Phragmites.
Okay.
We're not proposing
Yeah.
it to go any longer, period.
okay.
So we're gonna stop. We're gonna have
Okay.
a drop platform.
That's fine.
Little kayak rack.
Works for me.
That's it.
So we'll put it on hold, the kayak rack, and go from there.
You gotta give me a little time, but we'll be right back to the board.
All right.
Take your time.
All right. That's all you have?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay. Okay, so now we have Frederick William Immerman Estate, 141 Shore. Jeff Patanja?
I think this was just the plan thing, right? This was the application, just the, we want to plan.
It was the nuance because the house is right on the bulkhead.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to,
The plan things, so.
he was gonna helio
Yeah.
Violent?
the anchors under the house, but then there
We
was like
also
just a
wanted,
nuance with the planting next to the house.
Planting, so. And they submitted plans for planting, so.
So you have everything you need?
Yeah, we got everything that we need after you guys discussed it at the last work session.
So if you guys want to approve it, I'm all for it.
So we're good to go with what the board requested, you have the updated, I'm
Yep,
fine with
I
that.
do
'Cause we
have
were
it.
pretty much
Yeah, we went back and
done,
forth.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
There's no
all
sense
set,
in
so-
jamming that up.
No.
Okay? Then we have LK McLean
The village.
for the Village of Southampton. I see Matt Jedlicka here,
McLean Associates.
famous Matt Jedlicka.
Famous.
If you can just, do you beat what we spoke about with this project, the village?
Okay, so it is on Old Town Pond. It's a water quality project. The village got a water quality grant through CPF, and it's just a small bioswale project. It's about 5,500 square feet. And there's also a 350 linear foot of corner log shoreline stabilization that we're proposing.
Is it similar to the one on the south end?
It's similar to the one on the south end. Our project is really to do the hardscape, basically to shape the bioswale. And the Lake Agawam Conservancy has an agreement with the village.
Yeah,
to
they're paying for it.
to actually do the plantings. So they're paying for the plantings. They have, landscape architects that volunteer or work with the conservancy. And so they decided that rather than us come up with a planting plan, similar to what we did on the south end of Lake Agawam, which hasn't been constructed yet, they would have their landscape architect come up with a planting plan, and the conservancy would actually handle the plantings. But that'll all be, native vegetation.
Yeah, they have made an agreement with the village to do all the bioswales, so the conservancy does contribute quite a bit of financial.
Is this bioswale actually in our jurisdiction?
Not 100% sure, but just in case.
Okay.
James, what do you think? So, it's protecting our,
Good just to debrief
Protecting
the
our
board.
right, and we appreciate you very much
our water,
coming in
our own waterway.
to
right?
speak about it.
When it becomes an effect of our own waterway and there's a question, I think it makes more sense to address the Board of Trustees.
And I
as the
like it
actual
better
owner.
than the way they did the Phragmites remediation project last year. Like, this seems,
As far as like the cutting project that they did?
Yeah.
there was no looking out for the native species, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It was a blanket
Clear cut.
cut, clear cut.
Okay, yeah, which is.
So, yeah, that's not really what we're after.
I know that, in this set of plans, there is a detail that shows if there's invasive Phragmite,
Yeah.
that'll get removed, but any native gets, left behind.
Hopefully it will thrive.
And hopefully it
Yeah,
will
the
thrive.
hibiscus along there is unbelievable. I mean, it's always thrived on that pond.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So we have, submitted to the New York State DEC for their permit. But, because it is touching a water body of yours,
That's why you're here,
yes.
because it's going to affect our water body.
Yep.
Yes, and that's why you're here. Thank you, and we appreciate that.
Of course.
Anything else there? Trustee McLaughlin,
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
you good? Everybody's good?
So James, I think we need stamp plans, and I want to revise the cover sheet because my office likes to write a dissertation that goes along.
Yeah, that would be helpful. We're not
Just
putting this
pare it
on.
down
the-
and put it on the cover sheet.
Waive all the fees for the applicant.
Of course, we're gonna waive the fees for the village.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah, we'll waive the fees for the village.
So stamp plans and a revised cover sheet
With the details on the, right, with the, just the necessary
Less words.
details on
The
it.
necessary details, yes.
Right. It's pervasive in the office, they like to write.
Well, there's no extra charge for filling up the space.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. Sounds good, thank
All
you
right.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the upcoming hot weather.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
On time.
Finally.
So
Have a
we
good day.
have Kenneth Waits, 830B Dune Road, Village of, actually, it's West Hampton Dunes?
Yes.
Not West Hampton Beach, so correction there. B. Lang Associates.
Morning.
Okay, so this is a it's an eye test?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Legalization, approximately 300 linear feet of vinyl bulkhead installed under former ownership. So you purchased this with this problem. You're coming to the board. You have, I believe, the other regulatory authorities' permits, but for whatever reason, the prior owner never came to the Board of Trustees.
Amazing. There was an initial permit in 1967 to install a bulkhead. And so it's evident that that bulkhead had changed through, maybe the early 70s. We did an aerial analysis from like the 1980s to today, so it's been like over 40 years, and we don't see any change in the alignment of the bulkhead. So we don't think that has grown since the 1980s. This bulkhead has been here forever. There never seemed to be an issue with this bulkhead until recently, which we, believe it's just because of a private dispute between neighbors. We had a marine contractor there in March, and he had no issues with the structural integrity of the bulkhead. He said it was most likely repaired about maybe 2 decades ago. You can see an old timber bulkhead right landward of that existing vinyl board that's there now. So it's been there for many years, of course, 20 or so years before Mr. Waits bought this property. So, because this dispute has come up, there's some issues. We submitted an application to the trustees to legalize the existing bulkhead layout.
So the vinyl was installed how many years ago?
And we had a marine contractor there, Wilson Docks, and he said he thinks about almost 2 decades ago or over 2 decades ago. He said it's very old. He wasn't the one who did it, so we weren't exactly sure when the bulkhead was installed, but again, with his assessment, there was no issues. It's still functioning. The only thing that we've had to do, and we got a DEC permit for it, was just do some landward fill on the landward side of the bulkhead, just because of some erosion has taken some of the sand away. So we did get a permit to do that, but nothing seaward of that structure has been.
When did that occur? Is that a recent?
Yeah, I think our DEC permits from 2022 maybe. And that included some upland renovations that Mr. Waits has done as well. So those were all permitted. But again, nothing with the bulkhead, nothing seaward of the bulkhead was done. That has been there.
What were the landward improvements that Mr. Waits did?
He lifted his house and did some just improvements to the single-family dwelling.
Okay, did he put in the pool, or was the pool existing?
The pool was existing.
Okay, because I'm concerned with the fencing for it. That's why it looks like it may come into play in terms of passage and repassage of the public. So I'm just trying to.
For the fencing, for the pool?
I know there's a neighborhood dispute going on with right of pass and repass.
Right.
Okay, and my belief, it's involving a fence, so I just want to make sure that the
Yes,
fence.
there was a fence that was put up on the western side, and that was due to safety reasons because the neighbor has built a catwalk up against Mr. Waits' bulkhead. And so for safety purposes, they did that so no one could like go on the bulkhead, go on his property, go near his pool. So there was a fence erected.
But
Because
then,
there's a right of passage and
The right of
repassage for the
passage over
public,
that
which
piece
is
of
being
property.
impeded by the fence. That's
yeah,
what-
once your bulkhead breaks the plane of the water, you need a 5-foot passing way behind it, around it, so the public can walk. At high tide, they can walk down the beach, up on the bulkhead around, and go to the next beach.
But it does seem like when I've looked at some older surveys that there was never sort of public access going past Mr. Waits' property because the mean low and mean high water were right there on the north side of his property. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, but as of now, you're applying for a new application. So
Yes.
the new-
You're looking to legalize.
The new
so-
terms of an application will be applied to this bulkhead.
And when you put a bulkhead up like this and it breaks the plane, you need to have a 5-foot passing way around that bulkhead, so, for the public. That bulkhead is technically on trustee or on our bottom, so we keep it in access for the public.
Yes,
So
the mean high water mark, and the
But-
public has a right of pass and repass, so you have to keep that open.
But the fence is on the bulkhead. I understand what you're saying. It's not like it's not. Someone could. I guess maybe mean low if the shallow enough could walk around.
You're impeding egress with that fence as it currently stands to our terms of an application that you're applying for.
Can you zoom on that, James? Is that possible?
This photo?
Yeah. This way people can see and we can take a look at this.
My understanding from when we met
Prior
earlier
with
was
the
that,
attorney.
that the bulkhead was private property and not the,
I mean, it is private property.
it's not, creating an easement there would be, unconstitutional.
You're asking for a permit to legalize something that's on our property. So we're suffering the presence of the bulkhead by giving you the permit, but it's still on trustee property. And there are certain rights that come to the public because of that situation.
Public passing way,
Originally
A right
built,
of pass and repass, yeah.
yes.
when the bulkhead was originally built, though, that land was not in the jurisdiction of the trustees.
Oh, it always was, sir. As soon as that bulkhead went in, that established your mean high water mark.
Yeah, but at the time the bulkhead was constructed, the high water mark was much higher and was in line with the whole north end, and then the water.
Your predecessor in title came to the trustees for a permit, which was granted. It wasn't erected without a permit.
No, but not for the
I think
west
the
side.
western side.
The western side was not, western side was landward at the time. So the trustees did not have jurisdiction over the west side of the bulkhead at the time. And the bulkhead on the west side was constructed at the time to stabilize the bulkhead against like
The
a
bulkhead
mosquito.
was erected to stabilize the bulkhead. I'm not.
No, the bulkhead was
the
erected to
uplands.
stabilize the.
Adjacent uplands.
There was a mosquito ditch that was running in there. And it was also the western bulkhead, even though there was no A water there. The western bulkhead was constructed to stabilize the bulkhead against the mosquito ditch, as well as from any storm water that may have come in on a 1-0 storm.
Right.
So
Nevertheless, you're looking to legalize the structure under present conditions, and we have to apply our rules.
Right, but I recall the meeting that we did have with council. And that was about a month ago, I guess, 2 months ago?
2 months ago.
2 months ago now, right? So let's go back to that picture. I'm just trying to figure out what it is that we're trying to actually do and accomplish here with, you're concerned about protecting your private property and public safety for your swimming pool. And we're concerned about, people being able to get around the property, right? People access egress.
on the water
On the-
or on
on
the dock?
On the bulkhead itself.
But if the dock had not been built up against his bulkhead, which it's something typically the trustees makes, we have that 10-foot setback. Would this still be that issue? Because, it's literally up against his dock.
Can you zoom in again on that again?
Which one? With this?
On the fence, the bone of contention here is the fence, right? So,
I thought, I wasn't part of that conversation, but that the fence was outside of the trustees' jurisdiction.
Well, if it's on our permitted structure, it's part of
attached.
our, if it's attached to our structure, it is part of the trustees' jurisdiction. And generally speaking, the trustees are gonna take jurisdiction of the entire structure. And as you can see, those tie rods that are sticking out of the, you
Yes.
know, right? So that's part of the structure. So we will generally take jurisdiction of the entire structure, including the engineering. And that's where I'm trying to figure out how it is that we not create a problem for, obviously, the applicant. You want safety for your pool, but you want to also be sensitive to the public's ability to pass and repass. What's the depth of water around the outside of this bulkheading?
It
You know, Matt?
varies from,
Do you know what the bulkhead is
I haven't
around?
walked around.
Like if somebody was walking down the shoreline, could they walk around that bulkhead and right back up the other side of the bulkhead? Do you know what the depth of that water is?
That I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah,
walked
we
around.
didn't,
could.
honestly, we
They
didn't
could.
get any bathymetry.
easily, yeah. It's the
Because I mean,
water's
a lot
very
of times the
shallow.
concern about the pass and the repass on the base side of, but when I look at this is, in other instances where people want to put a dock going out into the water, and now that's gonna, not make it possible for the public to get around that dock because they're gonna walk out and they're gonna be in
Sure.
deeper water and have to go all the way out and then all the way back. I just don't know if that's the situation that you have going on here when you come to the spirit of pass and repass on the base side of a structure. So the thing is how do you balance the public safety aspect of the individual's pool with the public to being able to come down the shoreline and be able to get to the other side of the property?
Yeah, is that pool fenced all the way around on the
Yeah,
other
so-
portion of the property?
So because the water is so shallow there, the bulkhead is acting to satisfy the pool code as a fence, in essence. The pool code is a barrier. They require either a fence or a barrier. So on the left, the west, the north, and the east, the bulkhead is the barrier protecting people from getting into the pool, because when you're in the water, the bulkhead face is essentially.
Consistent with town code?
It's the Village of West Hampton.
But it's gonna have to comply with the state code. State code trumps it all.
So
Right. So, it's a unique situation because I understand the applicant's perspective because you want to comply with the codes and you want to have safety of your swimming pool. And then I understand that the public wants to pass and repass. Can they do that? Is the water depth shallow enough where you bump into that bulkhead and can walk right around it and back up the other side?
there's no difference. There's no difference in so I'm understanding what you're saying. There's no difference in water depth between if the bulkhead wasn't there at all, right, and the coast continued. There's no difference between the depth right in front of the north face and on the natural coastline. It's the same. There's no difference. Someone can walk around the bulkhead in the same manner as if the bulkhead wasn't there. That doesn't get deep.
In many instances that we've permitted,
As long as they can get down
from
The bulkhead.
the bulkhead.
So they would be.
They
So that's
have to-
another thing I wanted to understand, because there's no reason why anyone can't access the water. We're not blocking anyone's access to the water. So anyone can get in the water in the same way that they can if the bulkhead wasn't there. The bulkhead's not cutting off anyone's.
No, it's just the terms of this board, and to be consistent with all other bulkhead applications, there is a pass and repass over the jurisdictional area of the bulkhead itself, which is being erected in Southampton trustee land, and we allow 5-foot access and egress. So we have to be consistent with all bulkhead. You're going for an application, a new application. So we have to be consistent with all other bulkheads.
I mean, they could put a fence in back of the bulkhead all the way around
all
that.
the way around.
Yeah.
Which is, but
But-
Have you spoken with the village building department about relocation of the fence?
Yeah, the village is okay with the fence. I met with the mayor.
the way it is.
Okay, but you may have to change it in order to be able to get our permit, is what I'm suggesting. Have you spoken with them for an alternative placement of the pool? I understand the need for a pool fence, and that's New York state law. But it seems to me that there are other places that fence could be placed that would satisfy the code for the state and allow pass and repass.
But who's gonna repass on the bulkhead? Who's going to enter the property?
The question isn't who, the question is can they? And if you prevent it, it doesn't matter if you can't identify who it's going to be. The public have
I don't
that
mean
right.
who, I mean who. How can anyone access let's assume there is the bulkhead becomes a 5-foot passageway. How is anyone even going to access that on private property?
It's not private property, it's a public easement.
No, I mean getting to.
You have the servient estate under legal terms. You're an attorney, right?
I am. I'm not an attorney.
Okay.
Right, but I'm just recalling the surveys that we reviewed when we did meet with council, right?
Yeah.
And, we have pass and repass on applications where there's pass and repass to go over those structures, but you're still getting your feet wet because there's water there between high tide and low tide. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around the interpretation of pass and repass. If they can get to the water and walk around that bulkhead, this is the base side.
At low tide, yeah. I mean,
But even at high tide, we can go to applications where the tide comes up, and now you can go up and over the stairs of a bulkhead, but you're in the water, but you can get over it and around it. So I'm just looking at this saying, okay, you can walk down the beach, you can go around this bulkhead and go right down the other side, so you're not blocking anything. I just don't, I understand pass and repass, and I'm just trying to figure out how that intersects with public safety in somebody's backyard when it comes to a swimming pool, and where the common sense is with that. It just.
We've had a similar situation in Hampton Bays years ago, where we made them even just put a fence to allow them to walk on the top of the bulkhead.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
I mean, I think about what we dealt with at
Right
Long Neck
next to
Boulevard with
Long
Steve
Beach Road,
Ryder.
Hills is very
Long Neck
visible.
Boulevard, Steve
There's a
Ryder,
little-
when he was trying to legalize his structures he had, and even though his neighbors still had chain link fence all the way to the end, we asked him to put fencing in with gates that could open.
Pass and repass,
Pass
yeah.
and repass. So,
Yeah.
Was there a swimming pool situation there similar to this?
yes,
Yeah.
Self-locking gates.
locking gates.
Would it
That's
help
neighbors
if we
would have
went
to
out
put
and got
gates.
some bathymetry so you could see what because I know it's very shallow because I don't think floats are typically permitted in this area because of the shallowness.
Oh, at low tide, there's probably
Yeah.
inches of water there.
Yeah, so I wonder if that would be
See,
helpful.
I'm just thinking of like Ludlow per se, right? So you go to Ludlow and you have the dock going out. So now you're putting a blockage way going seaward from the property. So now if somebody wants to walk, there is a dock in the way. So they were mandated to put an up and over, but the reality is that during high tide, you're getting wet.
But if that bulkhead wasn't placed as it is right now, it would be similar to the shoreline that is on either side of it, so you wouldn't have a problem. So by permitting the bulkhead and allowing the property to raise up, you're creating a natural blockade. The pass and repass is designed so that you can walk on top of that and around it.
I think we're kind of at a stalemate
I
here,
just-
and
I
think
just-
we're-
I think- yeah.
I don't think we're gonna answer all the questions that the applicants are asking today
Why don't we do a
without
little bit of
further
research on
discussion.
some of these?
I'm gonna go down there with my
other
waders and
properties
walk
that have
around
a
it.
similar
Get a sense
situation.
of-
I think
if
you're
there's
gonna have
any
to go
holes.
there, and you have to walk around,
Can-
and you have to get a sense of what is actually pass and repass.
Can
issue.
I make a suggestion, have Joe do a little bit of research on other properties similar to this and how we applied the pass and repass, law?
And that walkway that's right next to it, right, where is that relative to our jurisdiction? Did we permit that? No.
It's all upland.
Right, so
It's not upland. I have pictures that show, the water underneath it. So it definitely goes, I think even in the DEC permit that they obtained, it was supposed to stop landward of mean high water, but it definitely goes much further.
Well, you can see the hook in it.
I mean,
to
here's-
follow the contour of the bulkhead.
Okay,
There's also
so-
a mosquito ditch there as well.
So that was hooked to follow the contour of his, you can see it right in the picture right there.
Yeah.
So if that was actually terminated at the mean high water mark and not on our property,
Yeah, but we don't have an application showing the mean high water for that property.
Right, so
was
this,
this ever even applied to us?
It's on our current survey, you can see the mean high water
no,
line.
I don't, this was
Oh, it
never
is.
applied to us, so this situation
Is
was created.
in the village of West Hampton.
So there's no
Correct.
permit in our office for this, and it touches it goes beyond the mean high water.
Right, so
Yeah,
that's
so
another
that's in
problem,
violation
so,
as well.
correct,
Yeah, so-
correct. So, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, I'm sensitive to the fact that the public needs to get to the water and the public needs to get around the structure. I'm also sensitive to the fact that you want
Yeah, but
to
if
have public safety
If it's
from
longer
your
than
swimming
the
pool.
DEC permit, then
God forbid somebody gets hurt in that swimming pool, you are gonna have a
Violation.
gigantic liability on your hands.
DEC violation.
Not just
Came up to
one
pass
neighbor
mean high water,
either,
then it
this dock
violated ours
is
too.
That's what I'm saying,
utilized by a
violate-
few different properties.
And we did meet with council, right? We had a meeting with council, there's various surveys, and you know, from a common sense perspective, I'm trying to figure out how we resolve this.
Well,
You're
I
gonna have
think-
to you're gonna have to get in the water.
Yep.
And
We're
then
gonna
we
have to do more
also,
research.
and we have to find out the legality of the other dock in our
We need,
jurisdiction as
we
well.
need to see how long the other dock is
Yeah,
permitted and what it is in its
and where it
current,
terminates.
where it is in its current state. If it's longer than where it is in its current state, then the permit, that shows it's beyond the mean high water mark, so then it's in our
in our
jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I will say.
The allegation was that it was built not to go to mean high water, which at that point, it would not be within our jurisdiction. If they've got a DEC permit and it's longer than the DEC permit, then they're definitely in violation of the
Yeah. So we need,
DCL.
We need to do a lot more research on
You need
this.
to go down there with a clicker.
I will
You need to
say,
go down there with a clicker.
Yeah, you got one I can borrow?
Yeah,
There's one at the.
we have one.
and you need to walk the length of that dock.
Yep.
And then that's gonna answer a lot of questions, and then we need to formulate a firm answer using council and past projects as far as the 5-foot egress around
Yeah,
your piece of
I think
property.
common sense gotta come
And
into
then,
play.
and then take into account the fact that you want safety for your pool.
yes.
Um,
There's a few questions.
I will say, I will commend you for trying to do this the right way. Because if people would have done this the right way from the beginning, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now, right? And you're just trying to clean up other people's issues, and you're being mindful of, obviously, the safety of the pool and the public's interests as well. And, you know, I appreciate when people want to just do the right thing.
Thank you for
Okay.
recognizing that.
Yeah, no, it's,
All right.
there's a lot there to unpack that we're gonna have to do a little bit of research on as well.
Yeah, we got a lot that we're gonna have to work on here.
Okay,
All right?
yeah, thank you so much.
All right?
Thank
you.
To be
Good meeting
continued.
all of you as well.
To be continued.
All right, thank you.
Okay. That's on hold. Next, we have,
Two for review.
we don't have, what was 46, what was R&W Engineering? So what did they want to?
First one, 46 Rampage.
Yeah, what was it that they want to do, James? I don't recall.
Let's find out.
We face failed wood bulkhead, 220 linear feet vinyl sheet pile bulkhead, plus 6'5" permanent dock in lieu of currently permitted seasonal dock, the same limits. Green Heart. And they want to establish a buffer. You have pictures there?
There's beach sand. No plantings, beach sand.
Correct.
So they're gonna get rid of a CCA looking bulkhead, right?
And they're not gonna have lawn running right up to the
Not
end.
gonna have lawn running up. They're gonna replace that with a nice vinyl bulkhead. So we got,
What are they gonna get rid of a seasonal dock and make it a permanent dock?
correct, they wanna get rid of the seasonality dock and create a permanent dock, is what they wanna do.
What's the length of the proposed dock? Because there's a 100-foot pier line in that area.
I think it's the same length as what's there.
Measure
140 by
140.
4.
Yeah. So it's beyond the pier line.
Yeah, there's a 100-foot pier line.
So is it pre,
I don't have the
right, so
original
we gotta do more homework on this one, right? Let's pull their prior
They need to
permits.
come in too.
We need them to come in, let's pull the priors, let's take a look, let's give them a call and ask them to come in for our next session, please.
Big hold.
And then we will continue moving forward on that. At least we gave it a cursory review. Right? And then we got First Coastal here for 2 of the applications for determination for final stamp plans. And I see Billy Mack came to shepherd them through, because he's a diligent,
Good to go.
applications. Solomon Adams, 614 Dune Road.
Stamped. Looks good.
Yep. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Good.
Good.
1718 LLC, 400 Dune Road.
What?
What?
It's not right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, I thought you said there was another one. I was like, I think we're done.
We're good.
James, what was the address on the doctor's?
1 Marinea Place. Marinea Place.
Marina?
Marina. Marina.
That's it. Hook it in there.
It's
Marina?
Marina.
Marina, but it has an E instead of an A. An extra E.
All right. We have
So it would be Marinee, right?
Marina.
Marinea.
Okay.
Are we good? Yes? Anybody else? McLaughlin, you got something?
I'm good, no, we're good. Yeah.
No? Parsons, you got? All right. If that's the case, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn this work session.
Second it.
Seconded by, we're gonna go to executive session. All right. Seconded trustee Warner, trustee Marin, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so that's it.